Hello, minions, and welcome to Battlefield 4 on PlayStation 4, on other 4 things of 4, not Assassin's Creed 4. Anyway, this is not my first game of Battlefield 4. I did not record that because, of course, I didn't have the ability to capture then. Typically, when I play a new game, like a new Call of Duty or a new Battlefield, I'll typically record my first game ever and upload it for you guys to see, but did not do that in this case. Here, which was a pleasant surprise, someone actually recognized me from a game of Battlefield 4, and so I messaged him back and added him to my friends list. So he was, other than this other guy that I played Battlefield with a couple of days before this, or maybe even the day before this, who I don't even know, who just randomly added me to his friends list or sent me a friend request because I was tearing things up in the scout helicopter with him. This guy, recognizing me here, Disturbed Mind, is my second PlayStation 4 friend. So if you guys want to be my friend, come be my friend. But here I give him a little friendly hump. And as I'm sure he's probably messaging me back as I just leave him there. But yeah, if you guys want to play Battlefield 4 with me, or any other game really on PlayStation 4 that I have, or even if you don't want to play any of the stupid games I have and you want to be on my friends list, I'm accepting people on my friends list. I'm not even discriminating right now, so please come play games with me as I immediately find the bomb carrier. This is, as you probably saw from that first screen, Obliteration, and this also had the name of the map on the first screen, and I haven't memorized all the maps yet, so sorry. This is the one where the Levolution is, I think, a dam breaking, and I don't know if it's a dam breaking, but the Levolution is that the whole level floods, which makes it really difficult to get around, because, yeah, then you have watercraft instead, but it is so difficult to get around in the watercraft, because they tend to run into things, and also, if you're not on a watercraft, getting between buildings is slow and dangerous, because you just get shot out of the water. Even though you can use a secondary, your pistol in the water now, which is a nice addition. But anyway, playing Obliteration, and I haven't played a ton of Battlefield yet, so it's hard for me to say I like this game mode better than that game mode. But I will tell you, in the several hours I have played Battlefield 4, I've spent probably 85 to 90% of my time playing Obliteration, because it's, you know, the new mode, and I get hit by a commander's cruise missile. It is the new mode, and I've been really enjoying it, because some games like this one I think lasts about 15 or 16 minutes. I have had games of Obliteration go over an hour before. There's one that's set in like a prison up in these snowy mountains, and again, I'll learn the names of these maps, but that one's all infantry-based, there's no vehicles, and that one can take a while. And that's the one that I played an hour-plus game on, and before the game was even over, so after an hour the game was still going, I got disconnected, and I had unlocked almost all the different types of grenades. I'd unlocked the impact grenades, the mini grenades, the incendiary grenades. I'd unlocked all of those. I'd unlocked several weapons. I'd unlocked a bunch of attachments and stuff, because it was an hour-long game of close quarters combat. So I unlocked another LMG for the support kit, and even some attachments for it. And then when I got disconnected, I lost all my unlocks. I think I kept my rank, but all the unlocks and stuff I had were gone. All the progress against those specific kits was gone. So that was the first game I'd even played support on. And so when it disconnected and I got back in, my support was back at 0 points. Like I'd never used it before. So after spending basically 45 minutes of that game using it, I was a little annoying. But anyway, those were some of the first couple of days. As I'm recording this, it is Monday, the 25th of November, and Battlefield 4 has gotten more stable. There hasn't been a patch. I get disconnected less. I still get the occasional game crash, where it crashes me back to the dashboard. but I have not seen as many disconnections, so maybe those stability issues are on the DICE server side, and those appear to have been mostly ironed out from what I've seen, but the game still does crash intermittently. Although in the last 4 or 5 days I've been playing Battlefield, I think I've had one crash, so the game's more stable. One thing I will tell you is don't try to use the touchpad button to access battle log after a game is over. I haven't tried it much during the game, but if at the end of the match when you're looking at the scoreboard, if you bring up battle log, from what I've seen, it crashes the game every time, at least in my experience. So, pro tip. But anyway, let's talk about less about these growing pains and more about the game itself, and that is, it's great. It's wonderful. I think most of the games of Obliteration that I've played have been about 32 characters, 32 players. I think that's probably what this one is. I played a little bit of Conquest last night. The first times I'd really jumped into Conquest, and I played about 5-6 games. And those were, and the one that I jumped into there was a 64-man Conquest, and I still kind of stand by what I said on Battlefield 3 and even going back to Battlefield 2, where 64 players almost seems, I would say, too hectic, but some of these maps are nice and big, so it's not even as hectic. It is a little bit hectic, but it's just spread out. It's unfocused. It's disconnected. I've never been a huge fan of Conquest, which is weird to say because I've really loved Battlefield since Battlefield 2, and Conquest was what you had. Like, that was it. And I enjoyed it. But since I've gotten Rush and now Obliteration, these objective-based modes where it's a focused set of objectives, like in Obliteration everyone's after the bomb, and in Rush there's 2 objectives at a time that you're fighting over. It keeps the action very focused. It makes it much more exciting, in my opinion, more tactical. Conquest, especially on the larger maps, feels like an Easter egg hunt with vehicles, really. I mean, you're just kind of moving around from point to point. You know, if your team's not being real effective, at least what I've seen, you're moving around from point to point, and as you capture points, the other team comes and captures them back, and then you end up getting behind and losing. The better way to play Conquest is to assign a squad or parts of a squad to protect individual bases, and then you fight back and forth over those individual hot points, and that makes it a little more competitive. But even in a 64-player game, when you've got something like 7 flags on some of these Conquest maps, you know, you'll end up at a point, you know, you and maybe 2 teammates, 2 or 3 people on your team against 2 or 3 people on the other team, and whoever loses the fight doesn't get a spawn point to spawn nearby, so you kind of have this long travel time. You get into this shootout, one side wins, and then you kind of move on to the next point, or you just sit there and wait. So Conquest, even with 64 players, still not my favorite, but again, I'm still real early on into the game, so they've done some interesting things. I should probably talk about more in one of, I've got several like Little Bird videos saved already, because, you know, piloting, I'm going to do some more tips and tricks and stuff, some advanced tips and tricks on piloting, because whenever I get in a Little Bird and there's not a coordinated defense, I just, you know, can still just tear things up. So I tend to often have a good game when I'm in a Little Bird, but rather than every game being Little Bird gameplay, you know, I decided I'd start off with something infantry-based, and so yeah, it's, you know, either way, it's good fun. I love the gunplay in this. It feels really good, but there are some things that they did with the vehicle balance, which I think makes vehicles not as overpowering and powerful as they were in Battlefield 3. Not that they were ever really that overpowered in Battlefield 3, but they're even less so, and I think a big part of that is the longer refresh times on the flares for aircraft. So it's like 25 seconds now, and I think before it was maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and that's significant. So people, if they have stingers, anti-air launchers and stuff like that, a good coordinated effort basically means once you start getting shot at, you need to leave, and even then it may not be enough. So it's, you know, it's pretty easy to get shot down because you can splash flares, which don't always work. I don't know if that's a design feature or a bug. In Battlefield 3, that happened where you could splash flares and it wouldn't break the missile lock and you'd still get hit. That happens more often in Battlefield 4, so I don't know if that's a design decision that they made to where flares are less effective or what. But then they also take half a minute to respawn, so they're, you know, less effective. You're more vulnerable in an aircraft, which I think overall, you know, it sounds like a complaint, but overall I think it's a good thing, because even a player like me in a chopper where I've you know, got a fair amount of skill to, you know, go ahead and pat myself on the back and blow my own horn penis. It keeps people who are even really good in the vehicles from getting, you know, too much control over the game. And some people might complain that, that especially if you're good in a vehicle, it might lead you to complain that, hey, I'm good in a vehicle, it's not fair that I'm being punished because those people can shoot me down easier now if I've got skill, and it takes skill to do well in a vehicle, which is true, that that it should be harder for them to take you down. And I do disagree with that, because, you know, a good skilled player in a vehicle cannot be stopped by a good skilled player on the ground. You need 2 or 3 on the ground, and so it kind of levels the playing field. I said I was going to talk about that in one of my vehicle-based gameplays, and here I've started to already go into it, so we'll save the rest of that discussion for another video. But yeah, just like Battlefield 3, the gunplay in this game feels really solid. I haven't gotten into a lot of the weapons yet. This is one of the first games I'd unlocked the 416, and I love it. It feels really good, really accurate at these medium to long distances. It's pretty accurate if you're just pop firing, and you just saw me do that once, and you'll probably see a little bit more of it here, where, you know, 2 or 3 shot pop firing bursts. It's got good accuracy. The snipers, I don't know if I've just gotten worse, or the mechanics do seem to have changed a little bit in that the bullet drop is a little more pronounced, at least for the sniper rifles that I've been using, which is the early on ones. But what big explosion! But I feel like I get fewer hits that I probably deserve with sniping so far in Battlefield 4. I feel like I can line a shot up at a relatively short range where there's almost no bullet drop on a guy's head, and get a lot of misses, which just kind of seem inexplicable. And I know there were some issues with that in Battlefield 3 as well, so maybe that's just a connection issue or a hitbox issue they'll have to work on. I'm being really critical of the game right now, but I really love the game, so I just want to kind of give you guys an expectation of things you might run into while you're enjoying the game, so you know, don't unfairly judge the game for its shortcomings. You expect them when you encounter them, and realize that the game itself is very well polished. It is, it's just an excellent game. But you know, there are some early on bugs and some things that you would expect that they wouldn't be doing in a game at launch. But if you've played the last, you know, Medal of Honor Warfighter, Battlefield 3, you know that DICE has not been great at keeping games, you know, clean on their launch. They tend to release relatively underfinished products and then polish them after the fact. So yeah, have that expectation. Is this where I did my first little swim under here? Yeah, or found out you could actually swim under that part to get up into this building, which is a neat little side trick. But anyway, getting a little sidetracked. Let's kind of summarize then my experience with Battlefield 4 multiplayer so far. I love it. I just can't get enough of it. I wish that the bug where it's not capturing audio was fixed, because I would really love to do some streaming of it, and I may anyway before it gets fixed. But since there's no audio in the system recordings and in the Twitch streaming, if you stream Battlefield 4, it streams with no audio, and so, you know, I could, you know, basically sit by my TV like I normally do, and you could kind of hear the game audio through my headset as I play, which is what a lot of people that are streaming Battlefield on the PS4 right now are doing. But I just wish they would fix that, you know, because I would love to start streaming Battlefield 4, even if I'm only getting on every now and then. For you people who follow me on Twitch, know that if you have your preferences set to follow me on Twitch, then you get an email. You get notified when I start streaming. And for people like me, and a lot of people these days, I think, who have smartphones, if you have your email account on your smartphone set up, whenever I start streaming on Twitch, you would get basically an email on your phone that says, hey, Wheezy's streaming if you want to hop up and see him streaming. And also, if you add me on PS4, if you have a PS4, then of course you'll get notified on the PS4 when I'm streaming. But you can watch me streaming from the PS4 on Twitch on your PC, so it's not like you have to have a PS4 to watch my PS4 streams. Anyway, I'd like to do some streaming with that, get that going. So be on the lookout for that. Unlike streams I've done previously, where I do like videos on my YouTube page saying, "Hey, I'm going to be streaming today. You know, come watch the stream for the next couple of hours." Because it's so easy to stream from the PS4, I probably won't be doing notifications like that. Just whenever the thought hits me to stream, I'll probably just fire up the stream on the PS4 and let it go. And some of you may have seen some of the interesting streams on PS4 lately with people using Playroom as basically video chat. So maybe I'll save that for its own separate video. But yeah, overall, still loving the PS4. Battlefield 4 makes me very, very happy that I got the PS4 because I don't think I would really... I think playing Battlefield 4 on 360 or PS3, I'd be really missing out on something special. For those of you on PC, you're not missing out. You've got equal or better, unless you have an older computer, than what you're seeing on the PS4. So anyway, that'll do it for me for now. Talk to you later, minions. Bye.